changing, but some things stay the same. You start each morning with a cup of coffee every day. Maybe hit the snooze, turn on the local news, but nothing good comes from a one-sided point of view. Marijuana for dummies. Come for the info, stay for the reefer. Marijuana for dummies. Come for the info and stay for the reefer.
That's right. Welcome, everybody. Marijuana for Dummies, the series that resists the miseducation of marijuana. And marijuana is turning out to be quite a political issue, as we would expect with, approximately half the country legalizing marijuana for use, recreational use indeed, not just even medical use. Medical use is expanding here and abroad, but recreational use is the item of the day. New studies are showing that seniors are actually using more marijuana, which is nice. Less amongst the youth and more amongst the old, at least for the reasons that I think are good for stress and relaxation. Seniors using marijuana. Other news is that there's an ongoing area of specific learning that has to do with hallucinogens like LSD and psilocybin having medical effects. There was recently a case report of a woman who took approximately 500 times
What?
I don't know if it was the lethal dose, because I don't know what a lethal dose of LSD is personally.
Okay.
There's a whole issue with lethality, but 500 times whatever the dose it was. And actually had a bunch of things get better. Psilocybin, in the same way, hallucinogen has been shown to have positive effects on people with certain kinds of emotional disorders. So, new information coming in these areas. I don't know what it's going to be, but certainly more and more we're learning. Now, of the candidates, Elizabeth Warren is the one who seems to be speaking the most. Joe Biden has been less than supportive of legalizing marijuana, saying he would be willing to listen to more from the experts, but right now he does not really support that. But Elizabeth Warren is the presidential hopeful who has, and I'm looking at one of the articles on her. She has a plan that's very similar to the plan that was released by Bernie Sanders a few months ago. And part of it has to do with filling her administration with pro-legalization officials in key positions, much like Trump has filled the world with his people doing what he wants, allowing people who are more open to legalization to act really to repair the harm done by the war on drugs. So she actually wants to do things in terms of, a kind of reparations for the communities that have been ravaged by the quote-unquote war on drugs. And that's part of the issue with the black community. Not just to expunge marijuana records, but also to put some more, to actually go about rebuilding what you've torn down.
Right.
Into areas of specific funding.
Now, let me ask you this. With the person who has the record of the most heinous, what I would call practice, wouldn't you think that Bloomberg should be leading the way in that directly?
Well, I was trying to get something from him, and I haven't really found it. I can take that. Let's take a moment here, and Vic, I'll try to look.
Right, and I'm not saying.
I'll look again while you're saying.
Right, I'm saying this. When I literally go. Somebody posed the question to him about reparations. And I say sometimes if you use that word, most people take it a different way. And some people talk about investment, return on investment, philanthropy. Would you say that Bill Gates, for example, has a deep history in philanthropy?
Oh, yeah.
Would you say Bloomberg also he has contributed quite a bit?
He has
He
contributed
has.
quite a bit of. He has contributed quite a bit. The issue and the issue with Bloomberg to me
Right.
so far is that he in the past has made mistakes. He's
Right. Yeah.
he's attempted to rectify those mistakes.
Right.
He's then invested in campaigns contrary to the areas where
Right.
he's tried to put some of his money. The question is, was that enough
For what was done.
for what people want? Right.
Right.
See, and that's the thing. Even though, in general, for me, because what he's done is so much better than other people who made mistakes.
That's
in other words, if everybody who made mistakes politically
what am I
came
getting?
back
Right.
and atoned in the way that Bloomberg did,
Right.
it'd be a better world. It would be a better world.
Here's my question. There's something when you go, what I've done medically for the health and welfare. I believe isn't he a strong contributor to Johns Hopkins and other places like
I
that?
don't know.
I'm not sure. I think he's strong in that area.
He has a history of investment in things that he
Right.
believes to be positive. The issue is whether or not you go along with him, but he has an issue. He has a history of reversing his position.
Yes, he does.
Changing his mind,
Right.
learning from that. He has. And that's to the part that I kind of give him credit for, because if every other billionaire was like, he's certainly done more
But is it
reversing
enough?
of any billionaire I've ever seen.
Right. The only reason why I bring this up is because specific to targeting what he did under his mayoral, I guess you could say, time, is to be specific also to the time where you're saying, I'm directly going to these communities that I affected. And I'm saying this for a reason. When you do stop and frisk, the problem you got is in some cases you're trusting the policing of protect and serve, that
Well-
nobody died or something did not happen because it was overtly abused. How do you step up from that? Because the data, what does the data show?
Well, see, that's my issue. I don't really appreciate his apologies for stop and frisk in the same way, because he hasn't come up and actually used the word racism.
Yes, he has not.
See, he says it was a mistake, and he says why,
Right.
but he doesn't say it was a mistake because it appeared racist. Even if he's trying to say he himself was not racist, which is probably what he's trying to say,
Right.
he has to say the policy was racist. The people who used it
That's what I'm saying.
used it to fuel their racism.
Yep.
So he has to say that. So that he hasn't done. So that's been a kind of a week to me. I did find out what he did, his position on marijuana,
What is
and
that?
it says that he says that legalizing marijuana. First, he said legalizing marijuana was the stupidest thing anybody has ever done. Now he's changed and said locking people up for marijuana is dumb. So he's changed.
Politics
He's changed.
Politics makes you go down that scale.
He's changed now.
You soften, you move. Like I said, it's political right now, man. That's the difference, you know.
He says it's changed.
And let me say this.
Here's the picture here.
It's always good to change for the better. You know, I'm gonna say that sometimes you have to have transformation. It's okay. It's okay to transform. So what I'm saying is, can I separate the political, I got to win against my competitors versus what directly is affecting a community? That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, and so it doesn't appear to be, a genuine position.
Right.
Again, this is what he has to deal with.
Right.
So, again,
Gotcha.
interesting stuff. And marijuana for dummies.
Times are a-changing, but some things stay the same. You start each morning with a cup of coffee every day. Maybe hit the snooze, turn